Hi everyone and welcome back. This is video number 2. Hopefully it won't be like a number 2.
Hi guys!
It's the Mink.
Hello everybody and welcome to his channel.
Oh yeah, you never got to do that.
No, and I like it.
She just got all prettied up because she's getting ready to film, and I thought it would be fun to have her in the opening.
Thanks, babe.
You're welcome. Thank you
coffee
to
breath.
everyone. I don't care.
Okay.
I got peach water breath. Thank you to everyone that has subscribed and everyone that's left comments. I am humbled that there are so many of you, and I've tried to respond to the comments and like the comments. I may have missed a couple. If I did, I apologize.
You guys are amazing. We love you.
Yes, all of you. So, she's going to get ready to film as soon as I'm done.
I'm gonna go organize my video. You guys enjoy Larry's video.
Good luck with that.
Thanks, babe.
You're welcome.
Have fun!
Thanks. So today's video is safety. And you'll say, well, how can it not be safe if you're just walking around taking pictures? Well, there's certain things that I would like you to do so that you can walk around and take pictures and enjoy yourself and not get harmed. I know a lot of you have said that I've inspired you to get your camera out, take some pictures and have fun. I'm so happy about that, but a lot of you have had responses from me that have said, please do take pictures, have fun, use your camera, get to learn your camera and know how to use it, but be safe. So some of you have said, what do you mean be safe? So this will explain what I need to be safe. I think the number one rule is know your surroundings. If you're in a city, there's going to be uneven concrete, uneven driveways, sidewalks, concrete. There could be sewer holes or manhole covers that you want to make sure that you're not stepping on or through. That would be bad. There's trees, branches. If you're in the wildlife, there's paths that have tree roots or bushes that are in the way. You're going to have, in Florida we have sinkholes. There's a lot of different things that you're gonna want to watch out for, and you're gonna want to be aware of what's around you, and if there's a problem, which way are you going to go to get away from that problem? Those are all things you need to think about. Again, in the wild, you have bees that make nests, you have animals that have homes. You are going into their neighborhood, and sometimes they're not going to like that very much. With animals, it's usually fight or flight. Well, with people too. For the most part, animals don't want to be around you, and they're more concerned about you than you probably are of them, and they're going to go. They're going to get out of there. However, if it's mating season or if they have babies, then you're not going to get the flight. You might get the fight, and that's something that you need to be careful with. Some people have recommended that you take pepper spray, and if you're confronted by an animal that's bigger than you or that you're really afraid of, you can kind of cloud it and they'll hopefully run away. I've never had that issue where I've had to worry about that. If you have a camera bag, you can use the bag to kind of put a barrier between you and the animal. I've seen a lot of postal carriers, well, a lot, I've seen a few, where they've used their bag that they haul the mail in to keep from being bitten by a dog. I actually had one of them jump on the hood of my police car one time, and I just told them to hang on, and in a safe speed I drove them away from the scene, away from the house, and the dog stopped the attack. And then I went back and talked to the owner of the dog, and we had a little discussion about that. So there's things that you need to be focused on, no pun intended. I'll probably say that a lot with regards to safety. Don't do this. This is like the number one rule. Don't look through the lens of your camera and walk. Whether it's forwards, backwards, you just don't want to do that. I was in a camera class, the instructor flat out said that was rule number 1. If he saw you looking through the lens of your camera and walking, he was probably going to come up and kick you. I never saw him kick anyone. But he said the first one is a very stern warning, and it's in front of everyone. He's not going to care. He's going to make you feel like crap, and you're just not going to do that. And if he sees you doing it again, he was going to kick you out of class. And I never saw him kick anyone out of his class. And I never want to be that guy, but sometimes I turn into that guy, and I need reminders. And that's just something you don't want to do. Take your picture, bring the focus back a little bit, walk up 4 or 5 steps, refocus, take another picture, and just keep doing that in progression. But keep an eye on the ground when you're walking. Don't walk and look through here. Don't think, well, I can look through here and look down at the same time. Not going to happen. Something bad's going to happen. Look on YouTube. You'll see all kinds of videos of people doing dopey things while they're on their cell phone, paying attention to that, or they're doing something. It's going to bite you. If you're walking, looking through here, there's a guy on a bike that's looking at a GPS or whatever he's doing, what gear his bike is in. There's someone else on their cell phone. You've got 3 people that aren't paying attention, that are all in moving mode, and bad things are going to happen. I was employed for decades because people thought it'll never happen to me. But that thing that will never happen to them happened, which is why I was employed. That's the most important one. Just be aware of your surroundings. To put yourself in a position to get the best picture, a lot of times you're going to be at risk, and you think, well, that sounds kind of dopey. If you go to a football game and you're on the sideline, you're close to the action, you're in the best position to get a great picture. You've got players that are coming full speed that could hit you. That's another thing you can look up on YouTube. You can look at all the photographers and coaches, assistant coaches that get completely annihilated by players getting knocked out of bounds or hit with the football. Baseball, you got line drives that are foul coming in the photographer's booth. It's just any kind of sporting event. Watch a basketball game. All the photographers, where do they go? They sit around the base of the goal where the basket is. And guys come flying down court, they do the slam dunk or the layup, and they get hit and they fall right into where all the photographers are. They're going to get the greatest picture, but they're at risk for being injured because of where they're at. So there's a lot of things that you need to think of with that. If you're watching the news or a news break comes on and says there's some kind of a disturbance or a riot downtown, don't grab your camera and run down and photograph the riot, please. There's paid people that are familiar with police or familiar with them. They know who they are. They're not going to know who you are. Riot situations are not good. Disturbances are not good. But don't go down there and do that unless you have a huge telephoto lens and you're a block away from everything. When I would take fire photography, there was a captain who always told me the rule of thumb. And that's exactly what it is. I don't know how accurate this is. I've always used it, never had a problem. But whatever the situation is, if you're close enough to it where you can hold your thumb out, close your eyes. If your thumb doesn't cover what you're worried about, then you're probably too close. If you retreat, back up, you close one eye. I think I might have said close your eyes. Just don't close your eyes, close one eye. If you close one eye and your thumb covers what you're worried about, there's a pretty good chance that it's not going to be an issue if something goes bad. When I would photograph crash scenes, traffic crashes, I had to worry about debris field, fluids, gas, jagged metal, broken glass, biohazards, other traffic in the area. There was a lot of things that you had to look out for. And some people are going to say, ooh, traffic crash. They're going to grab their camera, they're going to run over. Hopefully they don't go into the crash scene and they're going to start taking pictures. Not a good idea. If there's flares out, there's people that have lit flares close to fuel leaks. Not a good situation. You don't want to be around there. And if there's a structure fire, you can get pictures of a structure fire from pretty far away. You don't have to be right up close to it, because with those you have to worry about what is burning. Is there chemicals? Is there something that's going to be bad? Even a house fire. There's carpets, synthetics, furniture, draperies, all stuff that can burn or emit very nasty things that you don't want to be breathing in. You need to know the wind direction. How strong is the wind? Is there going to be an explosion? Is there a possibility the building could collapse? You just don't want to be around there. Let those guys do their job. Don't trespass. If you were seeing something on someone else's property, if you find out who the owner of the property is, or you know who the property manager is, and you ask them in person, be polite, introduce yourself. Hi, my name is, I see that you have, this has drawn my attention because I love to take pictures, I would love to photograph that. Could I please have your permission to go and do that? Be prepared, they might say no. If they do, thank them, because chances are you're not the first one that's ever gone up there, and sometimes people are kind of rude. But in the future, if you go back and you ask again, and you ask in the same demeanor, they might remember you, and they might say, you know what, you were here before and you asked and I told you no and you left, you didn't give me a headache. Now you're back and you've asked politely again. Yeah, you know what, if you want to, go ahead. You can offer them copies of the pictures that you take if you ever get the chance to take the pictures. But just be nice, be polite, don't trespass. You get arrested for that, and it's really not a good thing. I'm trying to think of some of the other things. Don't photograph the sun without a filter. There's certain filters you can buy. They're fairly cheap, like $30. A lot of people end up in an emergency room during solar events because they're going to take a picture. Don't do that. Don't take a picture of the sun. Not a good thing. If you have equipment, tripods. Some people, some places don't want you to bring tripods, monopods, selfie sticks. You find out ahead of time if you're going to a public place if they allow those things. If you have a tripod, remember that it takes up a lot of space. So the space that your tripod is going to take up could be another 2 or 3 people. I almost saw the mink. Recently we were in a very busy place. Somebody in front of her decided they wanted to take a picture. They stopped right in front of her as she was trying to go around them, suddenly stopping, which I'm guilty of. Sometimes I'm that guy. But they grabbed the picture and they went like that. Their elbows came up and it almost got her right on the side of her face. She had to do the evasive maneuver to get around, and I thought, that's not good. If you're in a crowded place and you want to take a picture, kind of look behind you to see if there's anyone that if you stop suddenly, they're not going to run into the back of you. And if you're in a crowded area, instead of going like that to take the picture, and I over-exaggerated a little bit, but you get the idea, you can bring your elbows up in front of you and bring the camera here. And a lot of times you can even get a better picture because you're going to be holding the camera a little steadier by this than by that. And then people can get around you and they're not going to be causing a problem for you when you take your picture. If you're going to a park or outside, maybe a place that you've never been before or you're not familiar with, or even if you are, it's not going to hurt to bring a friend. 2 people sometimes, if you're, again, focused on pictures, somebody else can kind of keep an idea of where you're at and how to get back to where you came from. You can carry a GPS. A lot of times there's something on your phone. You can have an app that will show you where you've walked and how to backtrack and things of that nature, which is good. If there's signs, read the signs. There's falling hazards, cliffs, hills. Read the sign, know your surroundings again. That's real big. Have a basic idea of first aid, and I don't mean carry a huge bag loaded with all kinds of first aid stuff. Just have the basics. If you're allergic to bee stings, if you're outside, you probably get stung by bees. I have. Not a big deal, but again, if you need an EpiPen or something where you're going to run into problems with allergies or something, have that with you. If you have a friend, let them know how to administer it. If you can't do it to yourself, that's a big one. Know that there's certain places that aren't going to let you film. Doesn't matter. There's schools, shopping malls, casinos, government property. You're not going to be welcome around different government properties. Legally, can you? There's a debate, a lot of YouTube videos of people that are photographing government buildings and they're told they can't, and there's a big dispute about that. Technically, in some areas, yes, you could. I was in a situation where I was filming near a government facility. It was next to a large park, and I was filming the park from the street. And I had uniformed security approach me and say, you can't film here. So I can't film your property, but I'm not filming your property, I'm filming the park. I wasn't on their property, I was on a public roadway, but the security officer was very stern and very believing that he was telling me that I can't film there. I just said I can, and if you want to call your supervisor, I didn't want a big hassle about it. I lived where there was a place with a bridge over the metro parks. The bridge was about 100 and something feet above the park. In the winter, it was nice with the ice on the trees and the snow. In the fall time, it was amazing. I called the local police station and said, I'm going to be on the bridge, this is what I'm wearing, and I'm going to be taking pictures. I won't be long, but everybody nowadays has a cell phone, and when they drive across the bridge, if they see me looking over the bridge, they're going to think, oh, we got a jumper, and now I'm going to have 4 or 5 police cars coming from different directions to talk me out of jumping off the bridge. I had no intention of jumping off the bridge. I would rather take a couple minutes of the dispatcher's time to explain who I was and what I was doing than have 4 or 5 guys pulled out of their zones and come down there thinking that there's going to be a jumper. And as I'm talking about this, there's sirens in the background. But I called to let them know, and I didn't have any problems. So that was good. Sometimes you're allowed to take pictures, but they don't want you to take flash. Sometimes historic places, mansions, things of that nature, you don't want to be that guy. But again, in 40 years of taking pictures inside places like that, just recently the first picture I shot off, the flash went off, and you just go and shrink and you wish you weren't there. They were very understanding and said, no, if it was going to happen, this is the place. It's not anything that we're worried about here. It's once you get in that we don't want you to take flash pictures. Also check with them and see, a lot of cameras will have like a sensor which will emit light. It's not a flash, but when you push halfway down, it's going to emit the light to help the focusing and things. It depends on the operation of the camera. Let them know that that's what it is. They say, no, that's not a problem. It's common. We don't worry about that. It's the flash. And there's a lot of heat generated from the flash. I don't think that's the problem. It's just the amount of light that's hitting paintings and fabrics and certain things they don't want damaged. It doesn't matter if they tell you no flash. It doesn't matter why they don't want it. They just don't take a flash. If you have a camera bag, you're going to put your bag down. You're going to take pictures. Don't turn around to walk away and trip over your bag. Not a good thing. If you have a tripod, put the bag underneath the tripod so that you don't have people walking around the bag that they could trip over, or the tripod legs, which you're creating a tripping hazard with those sticking out. Put everything kind of in one place and minimize. They might be walking around the bag concerned about that and not see the tripod leg, and they end up tripping over that, and that could knock your camera over. That would not be a good thing either. So think about that. Don't film near casinos. I might have said that. Prison yards, they don't want people filming prison yards. Schools, you might run into a problem if you're at a public place, a fair, whether it's county fair, state fair. I was doing some nighttime photography, doing some things with a tripod at the fair, and there were people concerned that I was taking pictures of whatever. I got approached probably several times, more than several times, by uniformed security wanting to know exactly what I'm photographing. I explained who I was showing them the pictures, and I'll show you some of the pictures that I took in a different video, because you get some really cool results at night with some time exposure videos. You can't see anybody in the picture. It's just impossible to see an image of a person in the picture. And once they understood that, they were fine with it. They didn't have a problem. But again, they come and go, they have their grounds that they have to do, and another one is approached, another security officer is approached and told, hey, there's a guy over there taking pictures. And then he has to come over. I said, don't you guys communicate? But for the most part, I didn't have a problem. I just felt bad that I was wasting their time because they had to check, which is what they're supposed to do. Here in Florida, you don't want to be out a lot unless you have some sunscreen. Get some sunscreen, put that on. In the wintertime, dress for the weather. If it's going to rain, you may not want to be out taking pictures. If you are, use precautions for your equipment, and be careful with loose ground or mud, things of that nature. Leave an itinerary. If you're going to a park you've never been to or a place that you're not familiar with, write down on a piece of paper where you're going, what time you're planning on leaving where you're at, what time you're planning on leaving where you're going to. Within like plus or minus 30 minutes, you might be there and it's a total bust and you're there for 10 minutes and you're already on your way home. Other times it could be the jackpot of great photo opportunities, and you go there, you think you're going to be there an hour, and it ends up being a 3-hour thing. If you have a phone, use it. Leave a message or call someone and say, hey, plans changed, I'm going to be here longer than I thought, but you know where I'm at. I'm still going to stay here. If you're in an area where there's a lot of brush or there's a chance of snakes, wear some thick pants, blue jeans, put some boots on, something that's going to protect your feet. For the most part, snakes aren't really that interested in you. They're interested in being out in a cold spot, or maybe they're in the sun, something, they're sleeping, and all of a sudden you come up on them. They don't hear you coming, they don't know you're going to be there, you accidentally step on them. That's when most of the people get bit by snakes. Try and minimize the damage by wearing some kind of long pants, or you're not getting your legs all scratched up or getting bit. That the boot or the pant will take the majority of the bite. That would be helpful. That would be a good thing for you. I think for the overall rule, if in doubt, don't. If you are worried that something's going to cause you issues taking a certain photograph, just don't take the photograph. You know, there were times when, once I moved to Florida, there was a structure fire. I asked the incident commander if it was okay if I photographed the fire, and he said no. Wait, I have fire investigators coming. Once they get here and assess the situation, if you want to ask them and they allow you to, by all means, but until they get here and you can ask them, I'm telling you no. I didn't take any pictures. Done. So just don't ask if you can take pictures, be told no, and then walk 10 feet down, look to see if they're looking at you, turn around and start taking pictures. That's not good. And that can get you into some problems too. Remember, some parks close. They have a closing hour. Don't go in there at 7:30, get involved in taking a bunch of pictures and find out at 10 after 9 when you go back to the parking lot. The park closed at 9 and now there's big gates across the driveway and there's locks and chains on the gate. You're going to have to make a phone call, and you don't want to be that guy. Now, I've never done that, but I have gone into an area where they don't want you to take a flash, and the first picture I took, I told you, it flashed. Not a good thing. Apologize and make sure that your settings are correct and try not to do that again. And the other thing, trains and boats. If you're going to photograph a train, don't be near the train. If there's two sets of tracks, again, look at YouTube, you'll find video. Keep in mind that the tracks are only so wide, and that there's usually about a 3-foot overhang on either side of the rail of the track where that car is going to take up. There could be something that's on the car that has shifted and fallen. I had a neighbor that parked next to railroad tracks in Cleveland. Train went by, something was hanging off the train somewhere. That thing cut through the side of his van like a hot knife through butter. It was like a can opener, went right down the side of his van. Nobody was in it, it was parked. At any rate, be aware of the train, and if the train hits something, if it's coming towards you, whatever it hits is now going to be coming towards you. Just be very careful around trains. And if you're on a boat, if you're on a cruise ship, man, you can run from one side of that thing to the other, or one end to the other end, and everything's going to be fine. If you're in a small canoe, a small fishing boat, and something catches your eye and you're going to jump up, that center of balance, that center of gravity is going to be thrown off, and you're probably going to get wet and cause anybody that might be on the boat with you to get wet, because that thing's going to go whatever way you're going, and it's not going to be good for you or the camera or the other person in the boat if it's a small boat. Big boat, tourist boat, yeah, you can pretty much run all over and take pictures. The last tip I can think of is have a good camera strap. This one I've had for probably about 10 years. It's got some age to it, but it's good. When I'm using a telephoto lens, it's padded, so it's a little bit easier on the neck. But keep in mind that when you have the strap on, you bring the camera up, there's a chance it might flip down. My luck is if I have something I don't want it to get caught on something, it will get caught on something. So keep in mind you're having something extra on you that could get caught or attached to something that you don't want it to. Be careful of that. And even if the camera is on a tripod, I'm still putting the strap around my neck. It's just something I do. So keep that in mind for your safety if you're using a strap, that it doesn't get caught on something, and the safety of the camera. If you have it on the tripod and the tripod gets knocked over, the camera's only going to go as far as what the strap is going to allow it to fall. I think that's probably about it. There's probably a bunch of things that I've missed. If there is, comment down below. Be safe, have fun, use your camera. The Nikon shirt, thrift store find, $4. I've been using this brand for 40 years, and every time I've replaced a camera, it's because it's just been worn out. They last and they're good. There's other camera makes that are as good, and some people will tell you even better. I love Nikon, been with them for a long time, planning on staying with them, so a $4 shirt with one of my favorite places, yeah, I can grab that. So that's why I'm wearing the Nikon shirt. Other than that, Lexi Kitty is over there staring at me like I've been talking for too long, and she probably wants me to get the camera over to the Mindy Minx so she can get her filming done. So I'm going to end this video. I hope there was some tips that maybe helped. Again, if I missed some, comment down below. Leave your comments down below, good or bad. I'd love to read them. Thank you for your time. I'm humbled that so many of you have subscribed to me. It's a lot of fun, and I hope you have fun too. Happy photography. Bye!